in. Double Hear You, choosing not to go with the Kaga, and that's primarily because they're taking a little bit less strike capability on the carrier and going with stronger air control with the fighters. And the fact that they get 2 dive bombers rather than 1 of the Kaga. And going with the Gneisenau that's relatively fast, and the Leningrad that's like really fast. And the Leningrad advantage is that it's really fast, makes it actually really hard to torp. So round 3. Here we go. And the enemy team has stuck with the Gadaj, Mada, the Leon, the Kaga, Hiryu, and Saipan. We are now on map Trap for our 3rd round. And here we go. The RIPCV's team, that is Team Green that we're on, is currently undefeated, and I would be surprised if they lost this without being too unduly harsh. It's good players on the team is what I'm trying to say. So another ram into a bot. So just take a moment to flood out. We see the initial opening plays from our teammates on the minimap. Leningrad is going full speed into the north side of Bravo, and the fighter line kind of spreading out and kind of covering over. So I'm gonna snap my camera to one of the carriers because it makes it easier. Oh, here you drops the payload so we can get faster scouts. And you see that, the bomb drop there. Leningrad racing round now. Does he tail in or does he actually nose in? It looks like he's going to stop and tail in. That means he's got an easier time to expand and escape. The Gadaj has smoked up into the cap and is starting to grab Bravo. It doesn't really matter too much about, let's say, who grabs Bravo first, because Leningrad is just going to reverse and he's going to have slightly better positioning. Plus, he hasn't used his smoke yet. So when he gets spotted, he still has that smoke as a backup. Now, why would the Gadaj smoke up? Is he afraid of being hit by the Scharnhorst? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel as if the smoke is necessary if you have the air control, you know, fighter planes over you. I mean, we've got a long dancing line. And it's not like a balanced group. I mean, you've got a Saipan versus a Hiryu fighter there, so technically the Hiryu is stronger. Then we have more Hiryu in the center, then we've got Kaga fighters in the center, and then Hiryu's watching the flank as the TBs are trying to edge around from the Team Green's kind of Saipan. Leon is moved up fairly close, and we see that the Team Green is thinking, oh, we'll go the long way round and grab Charlie, have our destroyer contest Bravo. Okay. Is spotted by planes, taking a little bit of damage. Lulu in his Leningrad has smoked up and he's kind of dacking down Leon. I'm supposed to pay attention to the paint scheme of RIPCVs. Is that, I don't know, is it like black or pie or something? It's like Pi Day? You know what? I don't know. Is there no paint scheme? Anyway, back into the center. Black Friday. It's all black. Okay, well there you go. Shows how much I've been paying attention. I tell you what, this Leon is broadsiding along, racing along at fairly high speeds. Takes a shot from the Scharnhorst. Leningrad can still fire over. Huh. thing is, somewhere on the other side of Bravo is the Gadaj Mada, and he's stalling the B cap. And the bombers for Team Green haven't quite dropped. However, very importantly, Team Red has pushed up their 3 carriers and has taken Alpha faster than Team Green has taken Charlie. So in terms of a point system, the Gadaj Mada's left Bravo, so he is perhaps trying to smoke up Leon or give him some assistance, not entirely sure. If B remains contested, theoretically speaking, Team Red is in a slight advantage, but I don't see that lasting. I see there's going to be like a dive or a drop or an attack, and then the Leon is just basically taking shell fire, and his health pool is now low enough, you know, he's down 23k, that he's susceptible to like a, even just like a half CV strike and killing him off. So that's a long range drop by the Saipan. But I tell you what, the Leon's actually turned right. Well, he's going to dodge now, but he's going to possibly beach. Maybe the Leningrad can start dacking him in, trying to get like a kind of a cheap fire. The camera's fine. And on the other side up top, we see Hiryu trying to drop on this sheep. He's panicked by fighter. Oh, but tell you what, the panic effect didn't trigger. Smoke is on. Now, Sheep is not using his damage control party because he doesn't want to hit by the Torp, and he dodges it by killing his speed and turning. And he doesn't have to take flood. And probably he would damage call now when it's safe. And then he would, because the damage control party of a carrier lasts 30 seconds, but once that 30 seconds up, you're quite vulnerable in the functioning of your ship. The double Hiryu dive bombers are spotting the enemy carriers at Alpha, but there's nothing that Team Green can do at the moment. And it seems that most of the pressure points right now are on the Leon. But we see double Hiryu torpedo bombers coming in, and I don't see any fighters. Fighters are tagged, fighters are out of position, they're all trying to chase here. So we're going to have a Hiryu, 3 Hiryu waves moving in on this Leon. If his damage con isn't ready, he could probably take flooding here. Or he might, well no, his AA killed off the weaker one, killed off the second wave. Now he's absolutely annihilating the third one, and this is the problem with the tier 6 torpedo bombers. They couldn't strike, but the important thing here is that the reason they were having a hard time is because the battleship was running away. If the torpedo bombers are actually coming at an angle, like a 90-degree angle, or from the nose, it's much harder for the Leon to escape, and you're not inside the AA bubble as long. But it at least pushes the Leon away from Bravo, meaning maybe can be long range shot by the battleship or the destroyer, or maybe they can try and get some presence on Bravo, or maybe because the Leon is pushed away, they can have their AA and they can fly over the destroyer and try and spot him. But also, by trying to bomb the Leon, you may force the enemy team into sacrificing fighter planes to try and protect him, or disadvantage engagement elsewhere, and then you can win the long kind of game, over 10 minutes or so. We got double Hiryu planes coming along on the west side of Bravo. They're spotted because we see them, but is anyone doing anything about them? They might even have a little bit of fighter escort. Okay, so fighters being redirected. This is now the Saipan's fighter. Now dive bombers, however, and the fresh set of torpedo bombers are heading for the Leon, so the Leon can't be left alone. He's kind of by himself. He can't really rely on the Gadaj Mada for his AA. He's taken a bunch of splash damage, so maybe his anti-air isn't as good. And dive bombers are going to come in, and they'll probably just race, so they get one hit, and the second one stops. We see Hiryu fighters panicked. No, dive bomber, that's another fire. Torpedo bombers are stopped, but it's nice and toasty on the deck of Leon. And that's a damage control party. And when this game gets to like its crucial timer, I have to say both teams are playing very well here, except it feels like the red team is just buying time by sacrificing health on Leon. Would it be better for Team Red to turn their the carrier around and then move the carriers wide and back in Leon? Because if the Leon was next to his 3 carriers, the AA overall would be much stronger, much harder to make a meaningful attack, because his anti-air already is making it very difficult for the bombers with a fighter cover. And that would involve, it'll then force the enemy team to push perhaps their battleship or destroyer around. But then again, it's only the slightest of leads for Team Red as well. I mean, Green Team still needs to make the play. They have to grab Bravo, or they need to make a play and try and get some kills. And we see Saipan torpedo bombers coming in. Oh, and it's a reversing Leon. He's going to at least 2. Is that a flooding? That is a flooding. We see the icon for floods. Damage control party might not be ready yet. It was recent, so he's going to eat a lot of health here. He's trying to hide. Oh, now here comes in a Hiryu torpedo bomber. That's a long-range Hiryu drop, so he doesn't lose the AA, and that's a closer range one on the tail, but I think moving forward he'll escape. The issue is whether or not his damage control party will be up before he floods out. Flooding has ended on the Leon, but he's down to 5,000 health, and he's been chunked at. I mean, I have to ask, has the Green Team's carrier been destroyed? Sorry, battleship. No. Have they been pressured? It doesn't feel like it. When you look at the health pools, it doesn't feel like a great deal of pressure has been on the Green Team here. It's mostly the Red Team just kind of staying in with our slight slender lead. And at this point, now that we're in the 10 minutes have expired, we're also going to be seeing who's got planes left over. Because with an intense battle, after 2.5 rounds, here he's out of fighter planes. You get 2.5 waves. And the Gadash Mara sees the Scharnhorst, is trying to get a little bit of kind of fire or HE damage into him. The Scharnhorst is moving into the cap. I think this is the beginning of like a pressure play. They know they're slightly behind. They know they've got 4 minutes to go. The Leon's healed himself back up to 14k. I think TW realizes that we need to, you know, probably apply a little bit of pressure. Dive bombers from Hiryu on the Red Team coming over the Scharnhorst. That's a long flight. Gets a fire on the Scharnhorst, however. That's another bit of dot damage. And the carriers also moving up from Team Green, and that means that they can all kind of get together, make a different. Oh, now here we go. Double Kaga torpedo bombers with Saipan. Fighter escort from one Hiryu, another Saipan torpedo bomber. We got fighter from the Saipan coming in from Team Green. Here comes the second one. They've harassed one. They split the plane waves up. It's going to be some last minute strafes, but I think these ones might get through. If he drops from a range, he might get it, but these planes are coming in from both sides. There comes a strafe from one Saipan. He's through. He's not being harassed. There's nothing. Drop your planes. Drop it, drop it. Now here comes another strafe. Ah, he didn't drop. He tried to get too close. It's beached the Scharnhorst. Scharnhorst has got himself slightly clipped on the beach, but I think they're trying to drop too close. When you have such heavy fighter control, drop from further away. And then at the same time, the fighter escort is still on Leon. Leon's taking a little bit of HE damage here and there because most of the focus is on torpedo bombers, and he's too close to the islands. I don't think he can drop that close. The Scharnhorst has taken some damage from the Gdad Maja. So, you know, I mean, health pool wise, it's still in favor of Team Green by a fair margin overall, but it looks like, I don't know why the Saipan of the Team Green is trying. Oh, that's why. He's basically baiting in the fighters so they have to deal with him, so he gets a clean drop. Oh, they're not paying attention. You need to exit. You need to go for the. Oh, he's got 3 torpedoes in the water. Two torps. This is it. This is the killing blow right here. So he uses the fighters to stall, and then he gets that critical torp in because the health is too low. Now, with the battleship down, there's no overprotective AA bubble because the Dash Mara doesn't have the kind of air control either now because it's all off to one side. He doesn't have any smoke. He has to move. Scharnhorst, Leningrad force him out. Bravo Cap goes to the Green Team, and that's it. The slow, continual pressure on the Leon does it, and that then forces off the Bravo Cap. And the thing is, the carriers have moved up from Team Green, RIPCV, whereas the carriers from Pingu haven't moved around. They didn't double back around. Had they double backed around and maybe protected their, maybe body blocked or AA blocked, it could have been a huge thing. I made a big difference, but in the Gdaj Mari, he's trying to smoke up again, but he's in a limited area. Just fire in that zone, you know. And now we got counter torpedo bombers, but there's no fighter escort. We got a. So one Kaga torpedo wave dries to his Saipan. We have another Kaga torpedo bomber wave, but it's tier 6 and it's got 3 fighter waves on it. Here you... Nope, that's Saipan. Saipan gets a torp. Oh, I tell you what, he's going to get a torp. just reasonable damage. He is spotted. Gadage, no, sorry, I can see him. Oh, he's in smoke now, so he can't be seen, but the man I knew roughly where he was. He might try and get some torps off. Deep wire torps are not going anywhere, and they're going to be well spotted. It's like stopping in smoke as a destroyer, and like, really? It's a carry game. Don't do that. That's bad. So counter torps from the Leningrad coming towards smoke of the Gadage. You know what? Well, he's just fired his torps now, so that he's given it away. But the Scharnhorst in the Leningrad is relatively close, and Malamu, maybe he's, I don't think he's D-planes. He's also pushing up quite aggressively. But then again, they can use this island as a sort of central buffer, so he know he can't be torped from the island. Okay, so here's Gadage, 2,000 health. Oh, the game clock's on 10 seconds. That's why. Close game. And that's it. So Team Green, RIPCV's wins on points. And it was a good game also by the opposition. Let's see. Pingu's first fly. I feel that they did a lot better that game than they did the previous one. Let's actually have a look at the plane numbers here. 67 for the Saipan. 55 for the Leon because he just kept getting attacked the whole time. Okay, let's see if we can figure out what the results are for that round.